It's funny how the biggest moments in our lives often don't feel that big when they're happening. For a speaker named Li Wei, a punishment for skipping church and playing video games turned out to be the foundation for his entire life's purpose. It sounds crazy, I know. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how that happened.
So let's start with Li Wei's own words. He's not just telling us a cool story for the sake of it. His whole goal here is to share his experience so that maybe, just maybe, it can help light up a path for the rest of us. He wants us to see the journey, not just the destination.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? How on earth does a punishment, something that's supposed to be negative, become the bedrock for a positive, purpose-driven life? It just doesn't seem to add up. Well, let's dive into the story and see if we can figure it out.
Okay, so to really get where Li Wei is coming from, we have to first understand the two core ideas that guide his life today. You can think of them as his personal operating system, a code he developed for himself on what it means to be a man and what it means to have faith. First up, his definition of being a man. For Li Wei, it's actually pretty simple. It boils down to two key things. Number one, you accept responsibility for your actions. And number two, and he says this is absolutely crucial, is respect. Respect for other people, for sure, but also respect for your own life. And his view on faith? Well, it's just as practical and down to earth. To him, God is more than a deity. It's an acronym that he uses as a daily guide. Good, orderly decisions. See how that flips the script? It turns faith from just a belief into an actual everyday practice of making smart choices that keep you on a positive path. All right, so we've got his code, right? Manhood and faith. Now, let's rewind the clock and go back to the one event that kicked this whole thing off. This was the catalyst, the moment that changed everything, even though he had no idea at the time. Like a lot of us, when Li Wei was a kid, he did not want to go to church. He talks about how he was forced to wear this little clip-on bow tie, and he throws in this little detail that he never had a man in his life to teach him how to tie a real one. It's a small thing, but it really paints a picture of his world back then. So here's the story. He and his brother would get dropped off for Sunday school, but then they'd take the offering money their mom gave them and sneak off to the penny arcade. Classic. Well, one day, their mom got wise to it and caught them right in the act. But her punishment? It wasn't what you'd expect. No grounding, nothing like that. It was this. You're going to read the Bible, and then you're going to come back and explain to me what you understood. Now, that could have just been a boring chore, right? Something they did and forgot about the next day. But for Li Wei, that punishment became the literal foundation for his entire life. You see, through all that forced reading, Li Wei started picking up what he now calls building blocks. It wasn't about memorizing lines from a book. It was about soaking in a set of principles. He believes that having these building blocks is so important because when life gets crazy and you lose your way, you always have that solid foundation to go back to. And according to Li Wei, those building blocks aren't just some nice ideas. They're the very thing that helps you answer one of the most fundamental questions in life. Are you going to be a positive force or a negative one? He puts it really simply. You've got two paths. Are you going to be part of creating something good in the world? Or are you going to go looking for trouble and do negative things? That teaching, which all started with a punishment, became his internal compass for making that choice, over and over again. So this whole journey, from a kid sneaking off to the penny arcade to figuring out his own definitions of manhood and faith, it all builds to this one final, powerful revelation. A lesson that ties everything, especially his idea of respect, all together. Li Wei says, if you look at everything in the world, all the things we absolutely need to survive, water, food, air, none of those are actually the greatest gift that was given to man. He believes the greatest gift of all was a woman. Now, this isn't just some romantic idea for him. This is the absolute peak of his understanding of the world, the final, most important puzzle piece he got from those original building blocks. And this is where his whole philosophy just clicks. A woman, he says, is meant to be a helper, a partner that you embrace, not someone you abuse or walk all over. And this ultimate lesson ties right back to his core definition of being a man, accepting responsibility and showing profound respect. It all comes full circle. So Li Wei's incredible story started with a punishment for playing arcade games and ended with this deep sense of purpose built on respect. It really leaves us with a huge question to think about for ourselves. What are your building blocks? What moments, what lessons, what Even punishments from your past have made you who you are today.